How long would I need to train to get this?
Okay, so here's where I was going. The first thing, and this is how this thing started, right? Johnny just started playing golf and just practiced and got good, right? Sergio.
Yeah, he made sure to caveat it with you.
Okay. Johnny took the approach of I'm having fun playing golf, and so I'll go play. Sergio took the approach. COVID hit. Golf looks fun because you can actually be outdoors. I'm going to take lessons in the beginning. That's what I did.
Yeah, it was like a month in, and I'm like, this is going nowhere. Let me get lessons.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now for you, this is the question that you need to basically figure out. If you're going to take lessons already having a golf swing, it sucks because now you're trying to retrain already trained habits, and that's harder than trying to build the correct swing first when you have no clue what you're doing. So for you, yes and no. You don't, but you've been doing it enough where your body knows what it's trying to do. Whether that's right or wrong, that's a different discussion, okay? So for you, you would have to take lessons, once a week for 2 quarters, right? 6 months. And then you would have to be hitting the ball consistently throughout the week. So if you took a lesson once a week and you were hitting balls 4 days a week, dude, this time next year, you'd be breaking 100.
Do you spend a whole lesson on one club?
Yeah.
Or you do?
Most times, unless you're like, once you start getting good, you'll spend time on the club you're not hitting well, which is typically your long irons or your driver or your 3-wood. But dude, the first 20 lessons I took, it was all with a 7-iron.
I don't have enough of
I
don't have enough of an obsessive personality to stick to that.
But here's the problem. Think about all the benefits that golf gives you.
I get it. I hear you.
Business benefits.
That's why I have you.
Golf is. I will take that. I'm happy
That's
to
a
be
great
in that.
response. I'm gonna start using that.
I'm
That was
happy.
his pitch to get me into golf. That was the exact same
Like,
pitch.
bro, we're going to make so much more money if we just golf.
100%. Golf is like the best business hack. What you go get to hang out with people that are, spending 5 hours with you. They're typically doing pretty good. Tap into the country club lifestyle. That's a sick networking
Are
opportunity.
you part of a country club right now?
I'm not actually.
Okay. I'm not either.
Yeah,
I wonder
I'm
what it's
not.
like on that
Where do you
side.
live? What area?
Like towards Riverside area, but hour and a half that way.
So we just hired somebody, brought him onto the team, and they used to be a pro golfer. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he says to me is, "Hey, we are not hiring him to be your boy for you to go golf 24/7 with."
I told him I won't hire him if that's his plan.
Yeah, but it'd be good.
So I got his commitment, huh?
Has he been golfing with him?
No, he hasn't started yet.
He hasn't started yet. Okay, so how old are you guys?
26.
26, yeah.
26.
27 in May.
27 in May. And you currently have started 3 businesses?
Yeah.
Started 3 businesses and just one actively.
One actively, so one of them you have already sold.
One we sold. One we started with the sole purpose to retire my mom from driving Uber. And then the third business is, the one we've been running.
So how old were you when you started the first one?
19?
18, 19,
Yeah, I think 18 and 19.
You guys
I'm 2 months older.
You didn't go to college?
We did. So we both got our bachelor's. He went to Cal Poly. I went to Cal State Fullerton, civil engineering, business. And we started it while we were taking full-time college credits, just going door to door, cleaning windows. And that was the business. It was called Orange Window Cleaning. Well, first it was J&S Window Cleaning, Johnny and
Classic.
Sergio Window Cleaning. And we were like, this is kind of a lame name. So we decided, how can we rebrand this? And we lived in the city of Orange at the time with my mom. And so we're like, okay, let's call it Orange Window Cleaning. And it was available. So we were like, and it would probably rank better anyways when people search for window cleaning in Orange. And so we rebranded it. And then when we weren't going to school Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we would clean windows. And then during the summer, we would do it full time.
So were you guys paying for college and stay, and this was a way for you guys to kind of bring income in along the way? Did you not have to worry about that, so you had time to focus on the business? Like, what did that feel like when you're in college?
I mean, for me, I'll be honest. I grew up low income, so I got some financial aid, the FAFSA stuff. But yeah, I mean, I still had to pay to live.
Right.
And so yeah, having the window cleaning business, we would take that. I mean, we'd reinvest a lot of it, but then use as much as we could, or as little as we could to just survive.
Right.
At some point, we were living on the same bed for 6 months.
We were sleeping together for 6 months.
Because this is what happened. I was commuting. I was driving from Riverside area to Orange County, And I was living on my grandma's couch, like literally like sleeping in her apartment. And so at one point I was like, we're getting jobs every single day. I was like, dude, let me just like sleep over. And so like I slept over one day, and then it's like another day, and like
Slowly
like a
but
month
surely,
later,
he just started moving his
yeah,
just moving his stuff.
his mom was like, do you live here? And I was like, I guess. And so like I started paying a little bit of rent, and yeah, we gotta sleep on the same bed.
So that I didn't go to college. So I don't know what the like normal college experience is like, but that doesn't sound normal. Is that what all kids are doing? They're building businesses while they're at school, or most of them just there to learn?
Well, most drop out if they're building a business, because by the time we got to our senior year, I mean, we were doing like 65, 70 grand a month in that business and 30% profit margins. We were killing it in that business, at least we thought at the time. And so for me, it was just I needed to finish college because I told my mom I'd finish college. And then he actually wanted to, he's like, I actually want to try my degree because it was civil engineering. And, you know, he was doing, you know, the Pythagorean theorem and all those crazy, the crazy equations, you know, to grinding for that degree. I was just, you know, doing bare minimum to get by so I could get the degree and then
Okay,
go
so
full-time
you
in
wanted
business.
to honor your mom,
Yeah.
and you told her you'd finish, so you stuck to it.
Yeah, that was it.
What are you doing with your degree now?
No, nothing, man.
Nothing.
I got a job like right out of college, and I lasted 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Like it was a weird time. It was during COVID, and so we did hit this point where like we were getting no jobs because everyone was like indoors. They were scared, and so we thought maybe the business was gonna go under. And so it was like that weird time where I thought this is a good opportunity for me to try the degree I just went to school for, and yeah, I lasted 6 weeks, and then I quit.
Yeah, you left me high and dry.
Yeah, I
Asshole.
quit the job.
Dang. Okay, so is this something that like any college kid can do? Is this
100%.
okay, so break that down. If you're in college and you want to make money and potentially even have a business that sets you up afterward, why is this such a good business to start?
I mean, we started with $150, $75 each. Bought some squeegees and like a polo, and started knocking doors in like storefronts and stuff like that. And that's how we got started.
And cleaning windows.
Yeah, just cleaning windows. Yeah.
And so, what were you charging?
Well, when we first started, I'll tell you a story. So we were like, okay, we had our equipment, $75. We were like, let's go pitch the local mom and pop businesses in the strip mall across from where we were living at the time. And one was a donut shop. The first one we pitched was a donut shop. And we're like, hey, can we clean your windows? Like, that was the pitch. No sales process or sales skills, just can we clean your windows? And then she was like, yeah, if you do a good job, we'll pay you. So we're like, okay, cool. Like, let's do a good job. And we had just been practicing 5 minutes before on never cleaned a window. And believe it or not, there's some skill to cleaning some windows, like especially quickly and efficiently. But we cleaned the window. It's like 2 big panes of glass. Takes us like an hour. And we finished and like, yeah, it looks good, but we'll pay you in donuts. And I mean, we didn't say anything, but we got a free box of donuts. And so that was our first paying job. And then we kept going door to door because we realized we couldn't pay the bills with donuts. So let's get some actual paying jobs. And so we started charging like $12. $12 was our first paying client. It was a dry cleaner for like 3 windows.
So
and then,
$12 every time you show up.
yeah, $12 every time we show, but we only showed up that one time because like that job was just terrible, and she haggled us down from $20. So, but that day after the donut thing, we landed one job for $12. We landed the second one. It was an auto repair shop, which the guy just wanted to help us out. His windows were all screwed up. There was no saving on there. Cleaning them wasn't going to make a difference. $40 there. Burger shop across the street was $50 a month. And then we had the Ford like old auto parts store for $80 a month. And so we racked up like $200 our first day, and we were freaking over the moon. We made our first dollar in our own business. You know, it was pretty cool.
Okay, so knowing what you know now, what was like the ideal price point for? I'm sure it was based on size.
I would just say don't even do storefronts, because then we took that. We're like, okay, well, we're not going to make much money unless we stack up a bajillion storefronts, which we didn't want to do. So the next play was, hey, let's get into residential. How we did that was we started cold calling house cleaning companies because we knew they didn't clean windows. And I just basically said, hey, I'll give you 15% of any customer that you refer us, because I know you don't clean their windows, and you probably get people that are asking for window cleaning services. So we'll take care of it, and we'll just give you 15% of those requests. I'm like, okay, cool. Called the top 2 companies on Yelp. Both agreed to it, and they started sending us residential. One of those companies told us, hey, you need to start building a reputation in your area and get reviews on Yelp. And eventually we found out Google Business Profile. And, you know, when you search up services in your area, the map shows up with all the companies and the reviews. And so we're like, okay, well, let's start asking our customers for reviews. And eventually, over time of just doing the basics and building a brand, we built the biggest window cleaning company in Orange County. So if you look up window cleaning in Orange County, you'll see Orange Window Cleaning still exists. And we've got more reviews than everybody. We outrank Yelp, and it's just from getting the reviews. And so
Wait, so how big
would
did
charge-
the two of you scale it to?
we, at the time of sale, we were at about $700,000 a year. And then now that the owner that runs that business actually worked for us, the business is doing well over $1 million a year now.
Wow. And so how many, like, at what point were you guys not able to service all the homes yourself and having to start hiring? Or did you not really
it
have
was a lot
that
of
while you-
trial and error, man. Like, it was really tough because we had no hiring skills. It was like friends that we hired our nephew, our friends from high school, and then we would bitch about like, oh, they don't want to work hard.
Right.
So
So maybe the better question is for people getting started, how much can you service and what do you think that revenue was just you two? Like how big can you get this thing before you have to worry about hiring?
Oh man, we were doing jobs like we had this whale client who owned like the second largest tree trimming company on the West Coast, had like 5 mansions in Anaheim Hills. We ran into him at one of the storefronts we were servicing, and we would clean all the windows at his houses. It would take us a week, and we would make $5,000 in that week, and that was every quarter. And he'd pay us all cash, so he'd keep $2,500, I'd keep $2,500, and put it all in my wallet, and I felt like I was freaking rich. So I would say comfortably, like you can get to $20K a month with like if you have you and a buddy that are just doing it, pretty easily. Because like the stack is not only like window cleaning, but it's like, okay, I'm already here cleaning the windows. What else can I do using the equipment that I already have? You can clean the gutters, which you charge $2 to $4 a linear foot for gutter cleaning.
Right.
During Christmas, when it gets slow, your calls are going to drop off a little bit. You can start offering Christmas lights.
Yep.
Our average ticket for lights was like $1,000. We sold one job that was $12,000 in Ladera Ranch. Christmas lights, gutter cleaning, house washing, window cleaning.
I did that once.
While we were there,
You paid it.
Heck yeah.
yeah,
To do the lights?
I don't know. I have no experience in setting up.
Yeah, you made a
Christmas
face
lights.
when you brought
yeah.
up Christmas lights.
I
You don't
know.
have to do much for Hanukkah.
No, we put a menorah on the window.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
how much of a nightmare is it? It looks awful.
Well, it's not like I'm just not a handy person. Like, so
Yeah, but
when
it
I'm,
looks
like
like
I'm
it's a
looking
very
at the
time-consuming process.
for hours. Yeah. Right.
yeah. Oh, I mean, when you pay like for a professional light installation, it's all custom C9 wire, like industrial
It's
grade
clean
wiring. Yeah,
looking.
it's gonna last you 5-10 years, and it looks clean.
Dude, I actually never took him down. I swear, it was at the last house. We just left him up.
No,
Just
a lot
never
of
turned
people
him
will.
out.
A lot
Yeah.
of people will say,
So
just
turn
keep them up. We'll turn them off.
Totally. That's what we did. Huh. That's cool. Okay, so you guys bring on some people. It sounds like you had a rock star employee that wanted to end up taking over the company, and you sold it to him. And then how did that look? Did you guys sell it all up front? Did you guys have a kind of installment sell?
Yeah, we took 25% down, and then we took the rest of the payments out over 2 years, so 24 months, monthly installments.
Okay, and then what?
That was the story behind that was because as we were running that business, our new business, Home Service Academy, took off, and that business ended up going from 0 to 2.8 million in 9 months. And it's like you go from like, okay, we pre-sold everything when we launched that business. Because we wanted to make sure we could get results, and that business is.
Okay, wait, hang on. Yeah, you guys wind it back a little bit.
I just heard 2.8.
That's what we went from 750. I had an employee that we sold it, and then 2.8.
This is all.
What is this next company?
Yeah,
How long after you
Home
sold the
Service
first
Academy?
one?
Yeah, that one's Home Service Academy. So we in the
You're 24 at this point.
this is coming into 2022. 2021 we end the year around $700,000. 2022 we're like we're gonna hit $1 million. Like had everything dialed in, and then I was making content on Twitter, so I was tweeting. I got like 6,000, 7,000 followers. At Squeegee God was the handle.
Well, I
And
love
so
that.
I'm sitting there tweeting about how I'm running this window cleaning business, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in college and this and that. And people are just eating it up.
Right.
And I'm talking about how we're using contractors now instead of employees, and that was like our thing, because when you're building a window cleaning business and you're scaling it, especially the way we were doing it, we started with $150, and we have no credit history. No one's gonna finance us for trucks as we grow and we scale, and we're ambitious. We want to grow the business. And every time we have to buy a truck, you got to buy the truck, you got to wrap the truck. You're paying for the rack, the ladders, all the pressure washers, the water-fed poles, everything that goes into it. And so all the profit we were making was just going right back into buying more trucks and equipment. And so we realized, we're like, well, what if we just hire contractors? Because we had an employee go off and do his own thing and tell us, hey, if you ever need any jobs covered, just give me 50% of the job and I'll take care of it. And I'm like, 50%? Like, dude, we pay our employees like 20%. There's no way. But I didn't factor in, I'm not paying any workers' comp, I'm not paying payroll tax, not paying for any of the equipment, any of the time to manage that and train that person.
Right.
And so it got to a point where we had so much work on the books, and all three of our trucks at the time were out, and we couldn't service this one client. It was a $4,000 a year client. It was this big job every December or every August, I think it was, that needed her whole house washed, windows cleaned, etc. And I thought of him saying, "Hey, call me if you ever are in a bind." And so I call him like, "Hey, can you take care of this?" Goes and takes care of it, shows up at our yard in our office and drops off the $4,000 check, and I pay him half and just didn't have to worry about it. I was like, oh my God, what are we doing? So just hired a bunch of contractors, and that's what people really liked, is that we were using contractors instead of employees. And so they were asking us, how can I do it? How can I do this window cleaning thing in my area? I'm like, well, we live in Orange County. It's very, it's a big metro, very dense, lots of window cleaners, less seasonality. I don't know if it'll work in most metros, but what will work is house cleaning, because anybody can go to Home Depot, pick up some cleaning supplies, and clean a house. Not everybody has the money to fork out for the proper equipment to actually clean, these big houses, the windows on these big houses. And at the time, my mom was raised me on her own, full-time Uber driver in Orange County, $3,200 a month rent. Having to drive Uber full-time, I'm talking like 60 hours a week. Right. Buying Priuses just to drive Uber, cycling out Priuses every couple of years. And, we were doing good with Orange window cleaning, but it wasn't to the point where I'm like, hey, Mom, here's $5,000 a month. Go, relax.
Right.
You're done. But I was like, I can knock out two birds with one stone. We can build some credibility in this house cleaning area, and we can retire my mom. And the whole thing was that we called our shot. We're like, hey, in 30 days, we're going to retire my mom from driving Uber. And we launched the business called Mary and a Mop. Her name is Mary. Launched the business on an Amex, put $2,000 into ads, hired the contractors. And in the first month we did, we were talking about this, we did $12,000 of revenue our first month, $4,000 of profit, which basically replaced what she was doing with Uber. Next month did $20,000 of revenue, $8,000 of profit. And to this day, she hasn't driven Uber since. That business will consistently do, to this day, around $35,000 to $40,000 a month.
And it's just following that same model that if you guys can get customers, you can contract the help.
Yeah, because all the expectations and the customer support can all be done via the phone. Like, you don't need to be boots on the ground. Like, you think you'd have more control by having employees, but we didn't see any drop off in service delivery. Our reputation's still stellar in the area.
And that company's still around?
Company's still around. Yeah, Mary and Mop and Orange Window Cleaning are both
And
still
Mom's
around.
retired?
Mom, yeah, she got VA in the business now, overseas, answering all the phones, basically running the whole show. Just turned some dials.
Have you ever asked your mom about the college degree that you got? If she really cared if you would have dropped out?
No, yeah, what's funny is she always says, she's like, aren't you glad you finished your degree? You wouldn't be doing all this if you didn't go to school for business. I'm like,
that's not where you learned
yeah,
it.
it's not where I learned
Oh,
it.
that's good. Okay, so then, this academy, when does this pop up?
So right after we launched that business, everybody's like seeing the results of what we're doing with Mary and a Mop. Like, oh my God, like he's killing it with his Mary and a Mop business. And so I go, I'll take 15 people just to see if I can get results. It's $4,200. We'll launch January 17th. I take sales calls from the 1st up until the 17th. End up collecting $50,000 in 2 weeks. All profit for this new thing we're launching. No product built. Sergio in a weekend builds it all out, and then we launch Home Service Academy January 17th, 2022.
Okay, are you squeegee god at this point, or have you?
I'm still squeegee god to this day.
Still to this
to
day?
this day, yeah.
Wow, okay, so you didn't have to go through a rebrand. You just offered a new service that kind of plugged in, or
it
was
was
more
same
scalable.
same exact model. You're just doing cleaning instead of window cleaning.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Yeah, you want to start with this onslaught of questions?
No, go.
Let me
You go.
do. Okay, so you guys have a very successful 2 weeks, which turned into a very successful year.
Well, we didn't sell for the next 3 months because all we did was focus on, hey, can we get results for these people? And then crushed it for those 15 people. And we're like, all right, let's put some freaking fuel on the fire. Didn't touch the 50 grand, poured that all back into building out the team immediately, videographers, editors for content. We were only making content on Twitter. We weren't running any ads. So we start rolling out the YouTube channel, the TikTok, the Instagram. And then we turn ads on. We bring in a digital marketer to run, a media buyer to run the ads. And then we take the business from, that first 50K to in 9 months after we didn't sell. So from April to December, 2.8 million. And then 1.5 was profit.
You're 20.
And at the time,
How old are you at this point? 24?
23, 24? 23 at the beginning of 2022, but yeah, turned 24, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna take this in a different direction. If you want to ask some questions about this business,
The question that actually came to my mind was the differentiation between employee and independent contractor, because a lot of people don't understand
Right.
how you can pull that off, and it's so incredibly valuable. So talk about how you did that, and did you have any issues getting there?
Yeah, do you want to talk about it?
doing that in California.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, California definitely a little more strict than the other states, but the biggest thing is the control piece, right? Like they're not wearing your uniform. They're allowed to work with other companies. So the hiring process looks like calling cleaners that already have clients, already have, other jobs. And so like you're not managing their entire schedule. They come trained already because they already know what they're doing. And so it's that control aspect, right? Like you're not controlling how they do it and their entire schedule, and they're not wearing your or your supplies or uniform. So those are the biggest things.
So the benefit to you as the owner is payroll tax,
Right.
workers' comp, benefits. What else?
Equipment.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest thing is like the scaling aspect, right? Like before we had to buy trucks, or for house cleaning, you'd have to buy new cars and you'd have to buy like thousands of dollars in equipment to add a new crew, essentially. Now it's like you just pick up the phone and you go hire 2 more people. And now like you can go from not having a business 0 to like 10K, 20K, 30K a month.
But you had to be willing to give them 50% of the income as opposed to 20% of the income.
Right, but which is not too off when you're paying 20% plus payroll taxes, plus like the equipment costs and the gas and everything. Like it comes out to about the same.
Yeah, and this is the part where I think a lot of people get jammed up, right? It's like they're looking at it saying, why am I going to give any piece of my revenue away? And when the proposition comes up to give more of their revenue away in exchange for not being able to scale, they're too short-sighted.
100%.
And so in this scenario, to your credit, you guys had the wherewithal to be able to say, okay, I can keep 80%, but I have to do all the work. I got to have all these regulatory requirements. I got all the taxes, the workers' comp, the insurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or I can give more away up front on the revenue side, but the workload is reduced significantly. And so it's one of those, do you want 100% of the grape or 50% of the watermelon scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, and you save the time managing and training too. And then all the equipment that gets broken or lost, which when you have crews of employees, which we had up to like 11 W-2s at one point. And you're just losing, breaking stuff all the time. And yeah, you can install systems, but it's just a pain. And also to add on, legally, this type of business is called a referral agency, and so there's a whole legal framework around how to actually properly run one of these businesses using contractors that like governs how to actually do it. Not to get too like woo-woo or like legally, but
Okay, so when somebody comes into the academy, are they learning how to be one of the contractors in the system that you created, or are they learning how to do what you guys did by opening up accounts and then hiring out contractors themselves?
Yeah, the second one. They're
The second
learning to
one.
be a business owner. And like they're learning to find and hire the contractors, be good marketers, find jobs, and the whole system.
So it's a franchise setup almost.
So that's our thing. Is like we're a good low cost alternative to a franchise, because there's cleaning franchises. They're gonna make you pay like a $40K franchise fee, and there's the royalties and all the other stuff that comes with it. And we're like a fraction of the cost, but we're giving you all the same level of support and everything. So that's what we've always wanted to be, is like the lower cost alternative to that. Because this is our theory. Is like in cleaning, franchises aren't as valuable because we set up, you know, clients in an area and they're out competing like the Molly Maids and the other cleaning franchises of the world. So it's like you don't need that McDonald's brand in a local home service like cleaning. Like it's just not as valuable.
Yeah, franchisors and home service we think are just because like what do you pay for a franchise? Like why do you pay for a franchise? Lots of times it's brand. You set up a Chick-fil-A, a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, like you're gonna get customers. Everybody knows that. When have you ever heard someone say, "Oh, let me find the Molly maid or the two maids and a mop in my area or the Mr. Rooter"? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's usually a Google search and whatever comes up
Right.
the first, second, or
With
third,
the best
or a
reputation.
referral, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So how are people doing that enter into this academy? Like how, you know, on the high end, what are people making? And then what does it look like for somebody who's not succeeding at it?
Yeah. I mean, one of our biggest or like most successful clients, he's in Omaha, Nebraska, and he's doing anywhere from like 80 to 100K a month with one location.
His best month was 110.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get up there.
And what do you think
Definitely.
like the average is? Somebody who's like not on fire, but like runs it decent,
Somewhere around like 15 to 20K a month.
15, 20K a
So,
month.
and that's usually like what people want. It's like they want that extra like 5 to 7K a month in like cash flow to come in, and like usually it's like supplementing something else, whether it's like their main job, their real estate endeavors, like something like that. Like that's what they're looking for. They're not trying to make the next like biggest cleaning company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Do you
Yeah,
guys
most
get-
of these people have 9-to-5s too. Like the guy that did the $110,000 a month, he had his job, like his full time. He's a sales guy, full time selling line striping machines.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me now that you say it. Somebody that understands sales
Yeah.
succeeds at this. Did he end up leaving his job?
He did, yeah.
barely. Like he was.
What?
Yeah,
we
this
were,
was like
we
a
were
month ago.
telling him so long to like leave his job, but he didn't want to for some reason.
Yeah, there's something about that. I was on this trip. When was this? I went on this financial like influencer trip to Texas for FinCon.
Okay.
And it was like this TikTok house with financial advisors. And they were like anywhere. It sounds
You're
so
saying those
insane.
words.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Listen, it was so insane. So I never like thought I was an influencer. I just thought I used social media to like highlight my business, basically. And I get this call and they're like, hey, we're getting this house and it's near FinCon. It's going to be all these TikTok influencers. Do you want to come? And I'm like, okay. So I go. Dude, I am the oldest person by like 15 years, right? Everybody's 17 to 22, right? And there was one kid there specifically that I'm talking to. I have no clue what these people make at this time. And I'm talking to this kid. I'm like, so tell me about yourself. And he was like, well, I'm, interning at a law firm and I'm graduating college, but I'm doing this like TikTok thing and it's kind of blowing up and I'm making money over here. And I kind of want to quit, but I'm not sure what to do. Right. And so I talked to him for like an hour. I'm like, well, what, long term, like, what do you want to do 10, 20 years from now? And we're going into purpose. And his parents were immigrants. So he was kind of mentioning my parents want security and that's important for them. So I don't know how to tell my parents that I'm quitting this to do TikTok. And so I'm like really like easing in on like, hey, well, your parents will understand. Like you need to build the right career for you. And finally, I'm like, how much are you making on TikTok? Right? And he goes, 35, 40K a month. And I'm like, quit now. What are you talking about? Like, this is such an obvious one, but he had such a hard time letting go of the security and then the concern of what his parents were going to think. Probably similar to why you finished college. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are 24 years old, making $3 million a year. What are you guys doing with this money? Are you buying nice stuff? Are you buying
shit,
Lamborghinis?
just
Are you
stupid
investing?
shit. Basically, not investing. No, certainly not. We were like,
I would say investing in the company. We were doing
we
that,
were,
but-
yeah.
What'd
but
you
at-
buy? What was the first thing you bought?
At the same time, though, I mean, dude, there's months where like I remember we ripped each a $72,000 dividend in 1 month. And keep in mind, we had a third partner at the time. We eventually bought him out, but $72,000 in a month at like 24. And dude, we just thought our
completely
shit didn't stink, man.
It just destroys your frame of money. It's like, oh wait, money's fake or something. It's like a weird thing, like weird shift. But yeah.
Okay, well, hang on. That's actually a really interesting point. You guys are in college. You said you grew up low income,
Yeah.
Also, single mom,
single mom. So
motels, the whole thing.
money's
Classic.
not a part of your childhood. And then all of a sudden at a young age, you guys are printing money. and you went through the, okay, whatever, like this is fake. I'm just going to spend it. I'll do my thing. How'd you get out of that? Or are you guys still in it right now?
No. Well, we got humbled.
Okay.
So I mean, easy come, easy go, right? So
Did you do the Ferrari or the Lamborghini? Or
No.
No, thank God
We
we
didn't go that
didn't.
far.
Thank God we didn't. No, but I mean, we were partying. We were going out to the masterminds with all the other young dudes that were making money at the time, partying, just stupid. But no, what happened was I crushed it that year, and then going into
2022.
going into 2023, we let a private equity company have a portion of the business, and
Why?
They promised you the world.
yeah. I mean, we were like, we're gonna grow it. The whole what was the analogy you made? 100% of the 100% of the grape, or 50% of the watermelon.
Yeah.
Same concept, right? We're like, hey, you want to go far? Let's go together, right? Let's bring on someone who's done this before.
Was this a like small private equity firm, large private equity firm?
I would say smaller.
They had about like 12 people at the time.
Okay.
Like
companies.
12 companies. Yeah.
Okay.
In the portfolio, and it was just like switched a lot of stuff. Business was just not performing, breaking even a lot of months. Lose 1 month we lost 90 grand, and so you go from like taking all the cash out of the business, which I also think was pretty stupid to do. I think we could have like lessened how much money we were taking from the business to reinvest back into it, which we learned that lesson. Then we bring this private equity company on, just companies not performing. Revenue is growing, and we add $1 million in 2023, but the bottom line is just tanked. And then combine that with that third partner I talked about was this media buyer we met in Canada. Gave him a third of the business too. So he had a third of the business, and then now these other guys have the business, and we're like, what are we doing? We realize the media buyer we bring on he's just a good, like, what worked for us really well is that we turned the ads on, and the ads worked really well because we were the only ones doing this. And then as we started to get people success, as people started to see us crushing it, they're like, oh, hey, I got my cleaning business to $10K a month. I can go sell this and that. And so now you start to see another guy pop up running the ads, and another guy copy our same exact ads. And, if a new person's seeing those ads, they don't care. It's the first time they're seeing it. So they're gonna click into that and check it out. And so we started to see our return on ad spend really drop off, which is another lesson. It's like we got way too dependent on one channel to get our customers.
And this was all coming from Twitter or X at the time?
This was all on Facebook ads. And we
Facebook
still
ads,
had
okay,
the
okay,
Twitter
okay.
and our organic content was saving us because
Right.
we didn't pay anything to acquire those customers. And but our ad performance increasingly just went down and down and down. And so we went from getting, like 5-6x return on ad spend, spending, 40, 50. We got up to eventually $120,000 a month on ads. And we were having a 0.9 return on ad spend. So for, 120 spent, we were making like 110 back. We were losing money.
That's not good.
And so that was a big problem. So we had to have a tough conversation going into 2024 with our media buyer. Eventually bought him out of the business. 2023 sucked, taught us a lot. And then 2024, we fixed a lot of that stuff. And yeah, things are looking good for 2025.
Is the PE firm still involved?
No, we got out of that one too.
Dang. Okay.
Got our equity back.
Got your equity back. Where the money where the money come to get them out?
We actually, it was an interesting deal. Because I can't talk too much about it because we just had to sign a bunch of paperwork. But happy to talk about it when we stop
Can you
recording.
share the name, the firm, the principal? I'm just joking.
No.
Okay, I totally get it. Okay, so you guys, 2024 was a cleanup year. 2025, things feel like they're back to where they were. They feel like they're better. How are we feeling so far?
Yeah, so 2024, we went 2.8 to 3.8, and then back down to 3. I think we finished at 3 in 2024. But
With what profitability? What was your profitability in 23?
1.5, right?
2022 was
Or
1.5.
22,
Was
they did
1.5.
3.8 and 1.5.
2023 was 100,000. It was like 100,000, right?
barely anything.
Yeah, barely anything.
And you guys are drawing a salary though, so you guys are staying.
Yeah.
afloat.
We're some months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
depends. Because then there's like a bunch of into where like Stripe was holding our funds like 70 grand from us for a month, and so we had to get that money out. It was just a terrible year. And then 2024 we did 3 with about, what did we do, like 600, 500, 600, something like that.
600, yeah.
Yeah, 600.
Okay, so you guys are
Yeah, so
starting to feel pretty good again.
yeah, and then now we've got everything kind of back on track as far as like customer acquisition goes, and We're a lot more anal now on cost and think about things in terms of like, hey, like we're bringing this dude on for $1,000 a month to make numbers simple. Well, it's really $12,000 a year. And so that's how we started to kind of think about things.
Right. So what did you guys have to do knowing that there's copycats or maybe it's becoming more saturated to create separation for your guys' company away from everyone else?
I would say, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we recently read this book. It's called like the Blue Ocean Strategy.
Yeah, it's such a good book.
And that's kind of like the framework we're taking. It's like, yeah, all these other guys are gonna promise you like, it's more so like get money quick with this cleaning opportunity thing. We're separating ourselves from that, and we've always been like the biggest with the most proof, and like so we're just leaning on that and more so going after people who are interested in like the franchise opportunities and stuff like that. Like we're going up market, whereas like these guys are all competing for like the lowest quality leads. Like it's people that need money tomorrow. Like you know what I mean? And so that's how we've been able to separate ourselves.
And a lot of these guys, they promise like get rich quick. A lot of them like they throw out like, we guarantee you'll make 10 grand in 90 days.
Dang.
And it's just you can't do that.
You can't get popped for. They don't get popped for that.
I don't know.
They're not big enough. They're not big enough. There's guys in the space that will get popped for that. Like FTC will come down. But a lot of these guys are smaller. Like, and they come and go all the time. Like we've seen all of them pretty much. Like we see new ones start every week, and then we see new ones go out of business all the time. But what helps us a lot is that we're super like meticulous with customer success, and because we track everything, average data first sale, average data hire first provider, monthly recurring revenue by the time your program ends, we're able to take about 20 to 25% of the people that join into our mastermind, where it's like, hey, let's really blow this thing up now. Let's get even more hands-on and work together for a year. We'll do 2 in-person live events, and then it's weekly support, one-on-one the whole way through for a year, where we'll actually help you blow up from like, hey, maybe you get to 10, 20K a month, that's cool, but now you're going to run into different problems as you want to grow and scale this thing and kind of start to remove yourself from the business. And so we'll increase the lifetime value of our customers by ascending them into our mastermind and our back end.
Okay, so walk me through the process. I find you guys, and I'm like, I want to start one of these businesses, and I join your academy, right? What's that cost me to join? Or are we not supposed to say that?
Yeah, part of the sales process.
Let me take a step back.
It all just depends. We got what I like to say.
Let me take a step back. Let me take a step back. Clearly not a digital marketer. I want to join you guys' academy. I join the academy, right? And that gives me a blueprint on how to do it. What else does it give me?
Dude, the biggest thing is the coach that you're going to get with it.
So I get a coach that helps me kind of launch and work through problems I'm having?
Exactly. It's someone that's done it before and someone that's coached hundreds of other people. And so they know what problems you're going to get before you get them.
Got it.
And so it's that piece plus the accountability. So it's like, yeah, like we put so much free content out there that you could watch our content. There has been people that watch our content. They're like, hey, I watched your content and we're doing 10K a month now. Like, you could do that.
Okay.
But it's like, you're going to get there a lot faster with someone that's already done it, and they're walking you through it every single week.
Right.
So that's the biggest piece.
Okay, and then is there a software component?
Yeah.
So they can use a software that you guys created that helps them manage their leads, manage the
that's
contractors.
The fundamentals is this: like you get a customer to come into your service business, your cleaning business, any home service business really for that matter, and you get them to book with you. Well, you want to get something in return. Ideally, you're getting them to book a bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly recurring clean. If they don't do that, you at least want a review or a testimonial on a platform like a Google business profile, a Yelp, a Facebook page, Facebook group, or you want a referral. But best case, you want all 3. And so that's kind of what the software has done is you come in, you book a customer, and all the automations are set up already so that this customer is going to be followed up with till the end of time until we get all 3 of those things.
Okay. And then from there, they now have the ability to join a live event or a mastermind, and then they get to hear speakers, meet people, networking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And have you guys done one of the live events yet?
Yeah.
How often
we had
do you
one
guys do
in
them?
Scottsdale, twice a year.
And how many people is it about?
The last one, we had about like 60 people.
Okay.
Yeah, in Scottsdale.
Speakers and kind of some of the masterminds we've been to more
Yeah,
structure like that?
exactly. Like you can imagine the speakers, catered lunch, hanging out after. We spoke, workshops, stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We
I mean, it was
always,
surreal though. Like we've been to the masterminds, but like throwing your own, it feels different.
Dude, it was
Like,
stressful.
cool.
It's like being the host of the party.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Like, are you having a good time? Like, you having a good time?
oh, dude.
Yeah, we were up till like 3:30 in the morning, like putting stuff together.
Had all the team with us, and then can we go to bed? No, another run. Let's do it again. Like up on stage practicing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
What's the retention rate like for your clients? Like, how many people are coming into the mastermind or the academy, getting what they need, and then they're like, "I'm done. I already know now what I need to do, and I'm leaving." And the bigger question is, how do you retain them beyond that?
Yeah. Well, you kind of said 25%, right? That's
Yeah. So
about what it is.
of the 25% that joins, we have about 80, 90 or so in the mastermind right now. Come year 2, and we're still young. Like, we don't have a ton of data on this, but so far we're hitting at about an 81% clip on renewals as far as reading up for year 2.
Dang.
They
That's
do get a
pretty good.
discount for year 2, and just to keep them.
Right.
But-
How,
I mean, that's a huge drop, right? Because like so many businesses, COVID, were doing the mastermind, digital courses, all that jazz, and I feel like a lot of them had a much bigger drop off than 20%.
well, do you think your guys your space? Could I say it's fair to say your space now is on like the educational or kind of coaching mentorship program, and then your niche is cleaning service or windows? Is that fair to say?
Just cleaning.
Yeah.
I was cleaning, yeah. But yeah, 100%.
Okay, that industry. If I'm outside looking in, 21 and 22 felt like there was just this explosion into it, and then 23, it actually felt like to me you saw this scale back. Did you guys feel that at all, or do you guys think that's accurate?
That probably had something to do with like the slowdown in 23 for sure. But no, I mean, I feel like it's like the whole, it's like the boring business, right? Like you get the Cody Sanchez's, all the people starting talking about boring business. People are still eating it up. Like on our YouTube channel, we've been flying around the country interviewing like random businesses. Like we did a guy who bought a trash truck and is now picking up trash, doing like 20 grand a month, actually like a garbage truck business. We did one where it was a biohazard cleanup and commercial landscaping, right? And going and talking to these business owners in person, and people are still eating it up. Those videos are doing like hundreds of thousands of views, long form.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know what it is, because we were just talking to some guys 2 days ago. These franchise consultants, and I'm like, hey, if you guys ever have like cool franchises you want to feature on our YouTube, we'll fly out, we'll do a video with them. He's like, oh yeah, it's probably nothing interesting. Like we've got like this tanning salon. I'm like, dude, that's dope. Like, I'd love to hear about this tanning salon that's doing like $3 million a year. I think people are just fascinated by the fact that like, wow, that mom and pop shop on the corner, or that industrial warehouse I drive past that I have no idea what they do is raking in, a few $1 million a year.
Right.
And I want a piece of it now. And we get a lot of people too who come from corporate, and they're like, yeah, boring business. I've been looking at acquiring a company, like the search fund guys. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I don't know that.
The search fund guys were in the business schools, they're teaching, here's how you go acquire a business. And home services is the hottest thing right now, where they're like, hey, I want to go acquire this business. And we're like, oh, before you go and acquire a home service business you know nothing about, why don't you like start a cleaning business with us, learn the fundamentals, and then go, acquire a business. But to answer your question, I don't get it, because it's difficult running home service businesses. It's not easy. Certainly not easy.
We had somebody on the show a couple episodes ago that's in private equity that's buying home services. He said the same thing. It's the hottest thing. You think there's anything, in just the point in time we're in, coming through inflation like we did, that would drive more people towards wanting to know about purchasing existing businesses or boring businesses?
Yeah, 100%. I think everybody's been taking it. I mean, look at what Cody's doing. The amount of attention she's getting because she's promoting boring businesses. I think
That's
a
what
lot
they're
of
saying.
people
Cody
are
did
gravitating towards
Cody
it.
did a video on them that popped off. They're still getting clients today from that video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I believe it. I think a lot of people are taking an interest.
So you think
Everybody's-
it's a pain point? You think people are at the
I
point
think
where
people are looking for alternate sources of income, and this is a path for them to get there.
Yeah, well, the whole pitch is like it's the silver tsunami. It's you got bajillion baby boomers retiring, and there's $10 trillion worth of assets that are just gonna be gone. So why don't you buy them? And the whole idea is like, hey, I can buy myself into some cash flow and replace my salary through buying a business that spins off, you know, $500,000, $2 million a year in cash flow through the SBA. And so that's the whole spiel is like, you can buy yourself into a 6-figure salary. I think that has a lot to do with it too.
There's so many of them. Like I went.
I know, just as you're
when I
saying
went to
it.
get my glasses done, the optometrist was telling me he's got 4 locations, and they have a 95% success rate as an industry. Optometrist office.
Wow.
And I was just like, how many can I buy in the next 5 years? I mean, like, because think about it. You just need an optometrist in a location, and they get 100% financing because their failure rate is so low. So there's no cash. I mean, there are very creative ways to spin these things.
So what's the average startup cost to spin one of these up?
About $1,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a lot of your business is done through advertising, though. I would imagine you're spending more than $1,000 on advertising, no?
Not really, no. I mean, it's not hard to get the leads. The hardest part is this is really a staffing business. Like cleaners are your product, and so you have to do a really good job and be really, really detailed about who you bring on and running that process. And most people can't do that because it's boring. Nobody wants to hire and talk to a bunch of cleaners all the time because you have to screen a ton of them to find like a really good, solid one. And so that's the main bottleneck. And so really all you're paying for is your software and some ad spend if you want to run ads, but you can get your leads in local Facebook groups and Nextdoor, stuff like that.
I mean, look at how much money they saved in expenses because you were at one point spending $100,000 a month on ads, and now you're spending.
We spend 0 on ads now.
Oh, really? Dang. Okay.
Well, and so the question is, the PE firm that came on, the media buyer that came in with a mentality that you have to go down this route. They burned through their revenue to the point where they weren't profitable.
Dude, we spent 1.5 on ads last year.
Yeah, but this is we talked about this on one of the episodes. This is a common trend with private equity right now.
Right.
You're seeing so many people spin up these equity funds to purchase small business like this, boring business. And they're basically operating them into the ground. They're destroying the culture. They're removing the people that made it special. They're trying to put their organize or their operational system in, and it's not working. And there's going to be a reckoning there for sure. I think that's great that you guys were able to get that out.
I don't know if you can answer this question. The PE firm came in at a certain value. When they exited, was the value higher, same, or lower?
No, it was definitely lower.
Significantly
It was definitely lower, yeah. Yeah, because we had a ton of debt.
So you guys were able to get them out without. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was a pretty amicable separation. So there wasn't like too much drama around that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. You guys just went back to your roots of what made you successful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then what's this year look like? What's next year look like? What do you guys? What's your growth metrics? What are you guys looking at doing?
Yeah, I mean, this year we really just want to get to at least 5 million this year. So we did a huge quarterly planning thing with all the managers and stuff in Vegas a few weeks back and set them all out. And so for this year, our big thing is we're doing a lot of affiliates. So having a lot of other people push our stuff and then paying out commissions, similar to like when we first started the window cleaning business, is like we find that people who are into real estate really like this business because it's consistent cash flow. We find a lot of like digital nomad audiences are working really well for us because like I want to travel the world, and our whole thing is it's a remote cleaning business, and we do have people who are in the Netherlands and running their business in Salt Lake City, Utah. You know what I mean?
Nuts.
And then the third one is like side hustle people. So people who like review side hustles and here's this way to make money and that way to make money. They work really well for us, and affiliates are crushing because I can get on a live webinar and I can say, hey, come book a call,
Right.
come learn more after I show them start to finish how to build a cleaning company. If you want to learn more what it's like to work with us, come book a call. And usually about 50% of people will actually go and book a call. And then
look, it's like storage for us. It's like it's not sexy.
I know.
It's not gonna catch everybody's attention, but it works.
Oh, you guys have a storage company?
We buy storage units. We build
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One of it's actually currently our largest portfolio is storage.
Wow.
Yeah. It's.
I noticed it blew up like same time, like COVID time, right? Like
we
buying
dealt with
storage units.
There's something that you guys are talking about that we absolutely dealt with. So we've been building storage units a very long time, way before it was. It's hard to even say it's cool.
Got
We've
it.
been.
no, it's definitely cool. Like especially on Twitter.
Okay.
Everybody talks about that.
So let's say storage is cool now, right? Our first storage unit was built in we started in 98. Like it's this old school style, right?
Okay.
And I was telling my friends about storage and how they needed to invest with me. And you just watch their face glaze over. It was just like, why would I do that? And then it became like, real estate CRE influencer talk.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this person does storage, this person does storage. And then it actually became a little bit more, it wasn't as specialty for us. Like everybody did it. But the biggest difference was we build them. And teaching somebody online how to build is almost impossible. But you can teach somebody how to just buy an existing structure.
Right.
So there was some separation, but we watched that wave happen. And then now storage is super saturated. Like the asset class as a whole is kind of going through a correction in many markets.
Did you guys do any selling during that time?
We sold 2 properties, 21 and 22, or both in 21.
Both in 20.
And was it higher than you guys ever thought you would sell it for?
It made no sense.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
That's awesome.
Stupid offers.
Yeah, I guess who bought them? I mean, it wasn't private equity, it was REITs. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So our strategy, like for real estate, is we're holding these things unless somebody offers us an amount we can't say no to. Because in real estate, the strategy that a lot of very successful real estate investors like is just drive value up and just refinance. Like make your money through recapitalizing the deal through new debt, and you just hold it forever. But every once in a while, someone comes around, and in 21 and in 22, that was like a buyer frenzy. So
There was
cap
a lot of
rates were
money
just
in the system at
ridiculous.
the time.
Yeah.
So much money went into the system because of the pandemic, and all these people were sitting on a tremendous amount of cash, and they only needed to earn 3.5% on their money in order to be able to make it work. And so they were going out and gobbling up as much as they could, and so they came to us, and they were willing to offer us a premium. We just couldn't say no to.
That's right. Okay, so for small businesses, like mom and pop style, what you see for a lot of them is they're able to create something that brings in a lot of revenue. But the value that they can get if they sell it isn't that much. And so they almost become trapped in a sense that they can never offload it because the sale won't even come close to supplementing the income for maybe longer than 2 years, 3 years maybe. For this business, is it similar to that you're creating a phenomenal income stream, but selling it, you're not going to get a crazy multiple? Or is it like, we have friends in the landscape business and the multiple is crazy? Which one is it like?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's very similar to the landscape situation. But at the same time, like business is business. And like if someone wants to buy a job, it's not going to be as much like the multiple, right? Like if someone's only doing, let's call it 150K per year in profit, it's like you're buying a job because there's not that much staff there to actually run the business. And so as you grow, I would say like once you start growing past 750K a year in profit, that's when your multiples can start going to like 3, 4, 5 times profit. So that's like, if you're really trying to sell, like that's what you should be doing.
It also depends on the industry too, like how recurring is
that's
your
right.
service too.
Exactly.
Like commercial landscape, I mean, of course you're going to get freaking multiples at the wazoo because it's really hard to screw up a commercial landscape contract.
Right.
But if you're just doing, say, take the same business, but instead of doing commercial landscaping jobs, you're doing builds all the time and you're hunting for your business all the time, there's not much value there.
Yeah. Like the one I was thinking of, we knew somebody who serviced gym equipment.
Okay.
Right? And he did well. And he was kind of running his business, at least what it seemed like how you guys originally were, right? Dividends every month and just, that was how he was making money and it was significant. But the multiple he could get was not. And so he had a scenario where he's like, I'm making $800-900K a year and I'm going to sell my business for 1.5. How do I pull this off? I don't have, I think for him, and unfortunately I think a lot of small businesses follow this, they're not investing this money in other assets, right? They have their asset, which is the business, and they're living good. And then they hit a point later on in life where they don't necessarily have the time to spin up another company or the risk appetite to do it. And they just don't have enough to cover the remaining lifespan.
Yeah. I mean, there's a book. It's called Built to Sell.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Yeah. And I think everyone should read that because even if you're not going to sell tomorrow, it's like build your business in a way that could sell.
100%.
And then now you have that opportunity.
That's right.
So
Okay, so you guys are in a different generation than us. For your guys' generation, for Gen Z, I gotta be careful with how I say this. It seems like from us elder. Are you a millennial?
Just
Are you
fire,
Gen
fire away,
X?
man.
You Gen X?
Millennial.
You're millennial. From us elder millennials, it seems like Gen Z has a view of the world that's a little bit negative. I can't get it. All the opportunities taken. The boomers have their homes. I'm not going to have them. Is that accurate outlook? Do you guys feel that also?
I don't know.
Maybe
man.
for other people, not for us. I mean,
Well, very clearly, I know.
I guess
when
the
you guys
best,
were
the
at
best.
school, like with the kids at school,
Yeah, I
were
was
they
gonna
like
say-
excited to go get it, or they're like, I'm going to be in debt the rest of my life?
Well, the best answer I could give for this is just to think about our friends from high school that we're still connected with, and I just think it depends person to person, because like we have one friend who he's seen what we're doing and he's like, hey, I want to start this cleaning business. Gets into it, and he's also like, why don't I just come work for you guys too, be a coach? He got to like $20K a month, and we're like, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. Like, come work with us, it'd be a lot of fun. And the dude is sitting there months later, crying himself to sleep because he's so stressed out, and he couldn't handle the stress of like, hey, customers are going to be unhappy. They're going to call and be unhappy with you. You're going to have cleaners call out, and then you got to also manage your day job. You can't do both. So he ended up leaving Home Service Academy and also shutting his business down and going back to the job he originally left, because it just wasn't cut out for him. Great dude, works really hard in what he does, but wasn't. Maybe he thought he wanted to go get it, but he wasn't cut out for it.
yeah.
Everybody's
And
I think that's
cut
the
out for
case.
the entrepreneurial
I think that's
mindset.
the case for a lot of people. And to tie this even further, I mean, we're in the business of creating entrepreneurs. That's what we do.
Right.
And the challenging part is not, the hiring or the marketing or getting the leads. The hardest part, not to sound too woo-woo, but it's the mindset and just getting over all your limiting beliefs and your fears when you do make the leap and finally try to make money on your own. Because, you got to hire people. And if you've never done that before, it's scary. If you've never charged $400 for a clean or whatever service you're selling, that's scary. And I think back to when I started a business, like this was all stuff that we had to get over, And so
Yeah, that's right.
I just think that I think a lot of people nowadays are like, yeah, I want to go get it. But when it comes down to actually doing it, there's going to be very few that actually do, because it's really difficult.
Yeah, risk, I think, is always the separating factor. And you said something that I think is actually true as well. There's some people that don't want to take their job home with them. Like when they get home, they want to check out and separate that. And if you own a business, that stresses with you 24/7. It's just It's just hard. It's just
Always
different.
thinking about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I think entrepreneurship did get cool, but business is still hard. Like it's always been, and it's like people are like they see the good stuff online, right? Like they see the people flexing, and like it's like, oh, that looks cool, but when you're really in it, man, it's like it's hard.
That's right. That's
Then
absolutely
you
right.
have the years like 2023 where you make millions of dollars, and from the outside, it's like, oh, these guys must be
killing
like rolling in the dough. It's like, oh, 100K bottom line.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, it's also just the grind day in and day out. Like, let me give like the reality picture of entrepreneurship here for a second. This happened to me a month ago. I'm sitting in my house. The trunk to the car is open. I have my laptop sitting on a box. I'm on the phone with an investor. We're raising capital for a deal. I'm pitching him the investment. While I'm pitching him the investment, I'm running into the garage, grabbing a box of something, putting it in the trunk. My kids run outside. They're asking me a question. I'm answering their question. I'm pitching the investor while I have to open up the laptop and look stuff up. All of a sudden, I hear my wife calling me to come grab something. It's like you said, if I go home, I'm still a business owner and I still got stuff to do. And that is the mindset that I don't think a lot of them are prepared to run 24/7. A lot of people, to your point, they see the entrepreneurs on the yachts or, flying first class or getting on a private plane. You do not see the grind that goes in every single day. And now for me, I love being in that position. I thrive in situations like that. I enjoy it thoroughly. There's a lot of people that don't realize that that's what you have to get into and be willing to do in order to be successful with it.
Well, yeah, and I think the other thing too, I think this will be good for all of the viewers, and especially that you guys are so young. This will be good for anyone who's like wanting to step into this. When you see people flying private, or you see a lifestyle that looks amazing, those are one of two people. One, it's the entrepreneur that has already built the business. that it's either running without him or he sold it, or it's somebody that understands how to market a lifestyle to you to sell you something. That's it. Anyone else entrepreneur, that's not what life looks like. It might look like that for a week when you go away with the family, but the grind is real. The stress is real. The emotional roller coaster is real. There's nothing easy about this, and I think it is you're either going to have a personality that works in there and you thrive in it, or you're not. I think it's really good for you to understand which one's which, right? Okay, so for anybody listening to this that wants to get more information on building one of these businesses, how do they find you? Squeegee God on everything?
Squeegee God on Twitter, but no, Johnny and
that.
Sergio on everything else. YouTube is our main platform. I remember you asked like what 2025 looks like, the future. Our biggest goal is to grow the YouTube channel. So check us out. We're putting a lot of effort into the content, flying around, checking out other businesses, and just showing other alternative ways that you can make money that are not drop shipping and e-commerce and starting a marketing agency. So Johnny and Sergio, I think, is the best for.
And if
you
they
wanna
get to
find us.
YouTube, they can see where to get to the academy.
Yeah, we have all the links in the description. DM us on Instagram. It's all Johnny and Sergio.
Okay, last question. How often are you guys playing golf?
I'd say I'm like once a week lately for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're playing.
Once a week.
Yeah.
man.
Who's better right now?
Dude,
Sergio, not even close, dude.
What?
I'm not even
Well,
sit here.
he hasn't gotten into the coaching.
I'm
and
the
all that.
vibes guy, man. I'm the
He's
vibes
vibes
guy.
guy. Yeah.
I'll bring the case of Happy Dads and I'll drink with the boys.
Dude, that's good. All right, when I come, well, you're here.
Yeah.
You're Vegas.
Yeah, I'm close
Yeah,
by.
but
Okay.
he'll come out. He'll come out for a golf.
That's what
golf round.
we'll schedule. We'll schedule a round of golf for us.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Well, what are you shooting in these days?
My handicap.
Like, yeah.
My
what do you shoot
handicap's
normally?
I looked at it when I played you last week. It's an 11.5 right now.
Oh wow.
So him and I
that
go
good?
neck and
Yeah.
neck. We
I'm bad.
battle.
I'm bad to that standard.
Well, I'll bring Michael so you feel good.
Once a week. When's the last time I played? July.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm trash. I am not good, dude.
You and Michael.
This sounds like a good time. This sounds
The
like a good
four of
time.
us will go out. Yeah, it'll be Michael and I versus you two.
Two-man scramble.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah,
Heck
thank you
yeah.
for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.